What if the earliest warning signs of dementia have nothing to do with memory? Most people believe that forgetting names, appointments, or important events is the first clue that something is wrong. But neurologists now know that the brain often sends subtle distress signals years, sometimes even decades, before noticeable memory problems appear. You may find yourself sleeping poorly, losing your sense of smell, struggling to focus on multiple tasks, or feeling less interested in activities you once enjoyed. These changes are often dismissed as normal aging, stress, or simple fatigue. Yet in some cases, they may be early indicators that important brain circuits are beginning to change. The good news is that recognizing these signs early may provide a valuable opportunity to support brain health before significant damage occurs. In today's video, we'll reveal the most important early warning signs neurologists watch for and explain why one particular sign is taken especially seriously. The first warning sign may seem surprisingly unrelated to memory: a fading sense of smell. Have you noticed that your favorite foods don't smell as rich as they once did? Perhaps the aroma of fresh coffee, flowers, or home-cooked meals seems weaker than before. Many people assume this is simply a normal part of aging, allergies, or a lingering effect of illness. However, neurologists have identified loss of smell as one of the earliest changes that can occur when certain regions of the brain begin to deteriorate. The reason is that the olfactory system, which processes smells, is closely connected to the hippocampus, a brain area essential for memory and learning. When these delicate brain cells begin to decline, the ability to recognize and distinguish scents may gradually weaken. Because this change often develops slowly, many people overlook it completely. Yet, paying attention to something as simple as your sense of smell may provide valuable insight into your brain health years before more noticeable cognitive symptoms begin to appear. Another early warning sign that often goes unnoticed is persistent sleep disruption. This is not simply about sleeping a little less than you used to or waking up occasionally during the night. We're talking about ongoing problems such as difficulty falling asleep, frequent awakenings, poor sleep quality, or waking up feeling exhausted despite spending enough time in bed. During deep sleep, the brain performs one of its most important maintenance tasks. It activates a specialized cleaning system that helps remove waste products and potentially harmful proteins that accumulate throughout the day. When sleep becomes consistently disrupted, this cleanup process may become less efficient. Over time, these unwanted substances can build up, placing additional stress on brain cells. What makes this particularly concerning is that poor sleep and declining brain health can reinforce one another, creating a cycle that becomes harder to break. Many people blame stress, aging, or a busy schedule, but long-term changes in sleep patterns may be an important signal that the brain needs attention and support. A surprising warning sign of declining brain function may be hiding in something you do every day: your handwriting. Take a moment to compare something you wrote several years ago with your handwriting today. Are the letters noticeably smaller, more crowded, or harder to read? This subtle change, sometimes called micrographia, can occur when the brain regions responsible for automatic movement begin to lose efficiency. Writing may seem simple, but it requires precise coordination between multiple areas of the brain that control motion, timing, and muscle control. As these systems become less effective, movements can gradually shrink, causing handwriting to become tighter and less fluid. Because this change often develops slowly, many people never notice it. However, paying attention to small shifts in handwriting may offer valuable clues about changes occurring within the brain long before more obvious symptoms appear. Another subtle warning sign may appear when tasks that once felt effortless suddenly become overwhelming. Think back to a time when you could cook dinner, hold a conversation, and plan tomorrow's schedule all at once without much difficulty. If you now find that even a small interruption causes you to lose track of what you're doing, it may be more than simple distraction. This ability, known as executive function, depends on the brain's frontal regions, which help organize information, manage attention, and coordinate multiple tasks simultaneously. As these networks become less efficient, the brain may struggle to switch smoothly between activities. What once felt automatic now requires more concentration and mental effort. Many people assume they're simply becoming forgetful or stressed, but a noticeable decline in multitasking ability can sometimes be an early sign that important communication pathways within the brain are beginning to change. Paying attention to these shifts may provide valuable clues about cognitive health long before obvious memory problems develop. One of the most overlooked early warning signs of cognitive decline may be visible every time you walk. Most people never pay attention to how their arms move while walking because it happens automatically. In a healthy nervous system, both arms swing naturally and rhythmically with each step, helping maintain balance and coordination. However, when certain brain regions responsible for movement begin to change, this automatic pattern can become less noticeable. You may find that one arm swings less than the other, both arms feel unusually stiff, or your overall walking motion appears less fluid than it once did. These subtle changes can occur years before more obvious symptoms develop. Because they happen gradually, many people assume they are simply getting older. Yet walking is a complex activity controlled by multiple brain networks working together behind the scenes. When these systems become less efficient, even small changes in posture, arm movement, or walking rhythm may provide valuable clues about underlying changes in brain health. Recognizing these signs early can help encourage timely attention and support for long-term cognitive well-being. Another early warning sign that is often mistaken for normal aging is a growing loss of interest in hobbies, friendships, and social activities. Think about the things that once brought you excitement and enjoyment. Maybe you loved gardening, playing cards, attending community events, reading with a book club, or spending time with family and friends. If those activities suddenly feel less appealing and you find yourself withdrawing more often, it may be worth paying attention. This change is not always caused by fatigue or a busy schedule. In some cases, it may be linked to changes within the brain's reward and motivation systems. These networks help create feelings of anticipation, pleasure, and engagement. When they become less efficient, activities that once felt meaningful may no longer spark the same level of interest. Because this shift often develops gradually, many people assume they are simply slowing down with age. However, a noticeable decline in motivation and social participation can sometimes serve as an important clue that deeper changes may be occurring within the brain. Staying socially active and mentally engaged remains one of the most valuable ways to support long-term cognitive health. Another subtle sign that may appear years before obvious memory problems is a decline in visual and spatial awareness. Have you ever found yourself misjudging the distance to a step, reaching for an object and missing it, or bumping into furniture more often than before? Perhaps parking your car has become slightly more challenging, even though your eyesight hasn't changed significantly. Many people assume these issues are simply related to aging eyes, but the real cause may lie deeper within the brain. Specialized regions of the brain are responsible for interpreting visual information, calculating distances, and helping us understand where objects are located in relation to our bodies. When these networks become less efficient, the brain may struggle to build an accurate map of the surrounding environment. As a result, everyday tasks that once felt automatic can require more effort and concentration. Because these changes often develop gradually, they are easy to overlook. However, persistent difficulties with spatial judgment and visual processing may serve as an important early clue that brain function is beginning to change. Another early warning sign can appear when conversations and stories become increasingly difficult to follow. Perhaps you once enjoyed watching mystery shows, documentaries, or discussions filled with complex details and multiple characters. Now you may find yourself losing track of who is who, forgetting important points, or struggling to connect pieces of information together. During conversations, you might need people to repeat themselves more often or find it harder to keep up when several topics are discussed at once. Many people assume they are simply distracted, tired, or no longer interested. However, these changes may reflect shifts in the brain's ability to process, organize, and retain information in real time. Healthy brain networks continuously hold pieces of information in working memory while linking them into a meaningful narrative. When these systems become less efficient, following complex discussions can require much more mental effort. Because this change often develops gradually, it is easy to overlook. Yet increasing difficulty understanding conversations, stories, or detailed explanations may be an important clue that cognitive function is beginning to change long before significant memory loss becomes obvious. Another subtle change that may signal declining brain function is a noticeable slowdown in reaction time. Have you ever dropped an object and realized you weren't able to catch it as quickly as you once could? Or perhaps you find yourself reacting more slowly while driving, crossing the street, or responding to unexpected situations. Many people assume this is simply a normal part of aging. However, reaction speed depends heavily on how efficiently the brain processes information and sends signals throughout the nervous system. When these communication networks become less effective, the time between seeing something happen and responding to it may gradually increase. Because this change often develops slowly, it can be easy to dismiss. Yet, a significant decline in processing speed may be an important clue that the brain is working harder to perform tasks that once felt automatic and effortless. Perhaps the most concerning early warning sign involves subtle changes in personality, daily routines, and the way you interact with the world around you. Family members are often the first to notice these shifts. A person who was once patient and easygoing may become unusually irritable, suspicious, withdrawn, or indifferent. Others may lose interest in conversations, show less empathy, or react in ways that seem out of character. At the same time, familiar tasks that were once effortless can begin to feel surprisingly difficult. Preparing a favorite recipe, following a regular shopping route, or managing a simple routine may suddenly require more concentration and thought. Another common clue is placing everyday items in unusual locations. This goes beyond occasionally misplacing your keys. You might find your glasses in a kitchen cabinet, your wallet in the refrigerator, or another frequently used item in a place that makes little sense. Because these changes often develop gradually, they are easy to explain away as stress or normal aging. However, when personality shifts, routine tasks become more challenging, and unusual misplacements occur together, they may signal important changes in brain function that deserve attention and monitoring. The most important lesson is that these warning signs can appear years before a diagnosis is ever made. While occasional forgetfulness is common, persistent changes in smell, sleep, movement, attention, behavior, or daily routines should never be ignored. Early awareness provides the greatest opportunity to support brain health through physical activity, quality sleep, social engagement, mental stimulation, and healthy lifestyle habits. The sooner you recognize potential changes, the sooner you can take action. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself or someone close to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Health Handbook Daily for more science-based health insights.